G'day ratbags, good to finally be able to talk about this one. If you want some thorough background info, go check out the links to the good articles in the comments and please share them around. Definitely do not bother reading or sharing the swill that came out of, say, the Herald Sun though. Just as a quick side note, if the Nazis are eagerly sharing your reporting, it's time to reflect on what you're doing. These guys are desperate for stuff to buff themselves up a bit and, maybe don't give them that. But yeah, the cliff notes for this sitch are: fascists show up to a bar after one of their many court dates. Bartender spots the tattoo on one of them and recognises it as a fascist symbol and asks him about it. One thing leads to another. The barkeep, though, eventually spits in the beer he was pouring for the fascist and refuses to serve him, as is tradition. The following interaction was filmed and posted before the fascists, namely this little fella, Stefan Auriclius, friend of the channel and former young liberal turned diversity hire for the NSN, successfully extorted money from the pub's owners. Now, there's lots going round about whether the owner has responded in the right way. I obviously don't think they did, but I suppose I can follow the sort of logic that leads you there. Like, say, for example, I was naive enough to think you can just choose to not do politics and could just passively make money, and that the money fascists are demanding might make the whole thing go away. Yeah, alright, I guess. Like, no, don't do that, but alright. Really, though, I think a lot of this talk misses the key point, and it's a key point that gives us a valuable insight to the NSN and especially Stefan. Now, bear with me for just a sec, right? The weird concepts of masculinity adopted by blokes like these, as fragile as said masculinity is about all they have. They cling to that shit doggedly. They will try to synthesise it by using steroids when they don't feel they quite cut the proverbial mustard, and indeed one of the quickest ways to piss them off and have them challenge you to a fight is to call it into question. Aside from the racing, of course, this is about as serious as it gets for these dropkicks. Now, in his initial complaint to the pub that formed part of his extortion, Stefan stated he felt emasculated by the actions of the barkeep. The full quote being, "I felt emasculated, uncomfortable, as if I don't belong in Victorian society. I left the pub feeling very depressed and angry." Like, what is this shit? The fucking Karen Reich. Anyway, his bros have since tried to claw this back when it's been raised with them, but we have the receipts, so that ain't going to work. Point is, though, this begs the question: how much does it cost to salve the wounded little ego of a wannabe Nazi? How much is their collective masculinity worth? Well, as of this incident, we can put a price tag on it, and it's surprisingly low. The manhood of a fascist, after arguing up from an initial offer of $100, is roughly $650 dues. Very impressive, fellas. Laters.